Please welcome Leslie Morse Nelson, Chair, Board of Trustees.
Thank you. Good afternoon, and welcome to all our graduates and guests here and watching from afar. As Chair of the Teachers College Board of Trustees, I have the honor of officially opening today's ceremony and being the first to congratulate the 2025 Master's and Doctoral graduates of Teachers College. As we celebrate your accomplishments, we know it may not have been easy, and many of you have had a journey marked by unexpected challenges and hardship. That is what makes today all the more sweeter. So I would say, give yourselves again a big round of applause for all you have accomplished. This is a momentous day, not only because it signifies the culmination of a tremendous amount of academic effort, hours upon hours of work on papers, research, exams, presentations, and clinical fieldwork, but also because it signals your commitment and your readiness to step into the world and make a difference as innovators and leaders. As TC medalist Kathleen Garcia said to our graduates several years ago, change is the product of a very big vision and small, consistent execution. Your impact will be felt by people you may never meet. Work hard for those people every day, and always remember the normal and the everyday is heroic. Some of you are heading into classrooms to launch your careers as teachers. You will be working on the front lines of our country's future, nurturing and shaping the hearts and minds of young people at a time when our nation urgently needs citizens with a clear vision of what is just and what is possible. Thank you for taking on this incredibly important work. Others of you will be shaping hearts and minds and bodies through other types of service as artists, arts administrators, psychologists, counselors, health practitioners, neuroscientists, speech pathologists, and so much more. Together you embody what Teachers College has always recognized since our founding over 130 years ago. For individuals to flourish and reach their full potential, we must support their well-being comprehensively, both in and out of school and from birth until old age. This foundational insight, this drive to address the whole of human development, is why Teachers College offers graduate programs not just in education, but also psychology, health, and leadership. It is why TC scholars have always been at the forefront of identifying and meeting emerging societal needs. Establishing the nation's first programs in educational psychology, nutrition education, international education, special education, and so many other areas. And it is why so many TC graduates have gone on to be leaders in their fields. I am so proud and grateful to be here to celebrate this new class of graduates who I know will continue to build on and contribute to this great legacy. And now it is my pleasure to introduce the president of Teachers College, Thomas Bailey.
Greetings to all the family, friends, faculty, student volunteers, and staff joining us here today for our main event as we celebrate the momentous occasion of our 2025 TC graduates completing their degrees. Graduates, this is your day, and you've earned it. Congratulations. Let's hear it. Yes. Yes. I guess that's all right. Could be more, but you'll get other chances. Of course, getting to this point has taken the support of so many others. So let's also celebrate all of those who helped you get here. So now let's really have it for them. So, all right. Now, these have included your spouses and partners, parents, your children, your grandparents, siblings, and friends, your advisors and mentors, those of us with us today and those not here, including perhaps the Door Dashers and Uber drivers who kept us all going. They were important too. It's like many in this room, I'm proud of you. And as I look, I'm optimistic. Now, I know optimism may not be the emotion some of us have been feeling recently, maybe not for a while. So let me tell you why I feel so encouraged. You came to Teachers College because you had an idea. You had a vision. You came from distances far and near, and you made sacrifices. You were focused on learning and also doing. As part of your education, those ideas you came with were challenged. You defended them. Perhaps you altered them. Some of you may have gone in completely new directions. But in the end, you grew with them. That is what a TC education does. It is designed to make you question things. I know that being here today means that with the guidance and input of your faculty and your peers, you've stretched yourself. You've worked hard on that initial idea, that spark of a vision, and you will now move it forward. Now, at this point, graduation speakers often talk about the world you're heading into, how your schooling has prepared you for that world, and how now you're ready for the real world. But of course, you have been in the real world. TC is built around the notion of experiential learning. We learn from doing, from reflection, from social interaction and collaboration. These were the ideas of John Dewey, who was on our faculty more than a century ago. He set the foundation for modern education in the US, and certainly the standard for Teachers College. No matter your area of focus, you have engaged with communities, with data, and with each other in pursuit of your studies. While you may have used AI along the way, you also drew on the original AI, actual intelligence. And you have also engaged with the larger world. That is another legacy of John Dewey, which we are proud to uphold. Now, in the early 1900s, a group of Chinese scholars were among the first international students at TC. They came to study Dewey's progressive ideas as they set out to modernize China's education system. Dewey's subsequent stay in China broadened his education and political philosophies with a decidedly international approach and mindset. To this day, we recognize that TC is an institution in and of the world. That starts right in New York City, where we have more than 130 partnerships that depend on the talents of our students and faculty. K-12 classrooms throughout our 5 boroughs draw on the skills of our teacher education alumni, and tens of thousands more TC graduates extend our impact across the country and the globe in the fields of education, health, and psychology. We embrace the notion that our borders are not at 120th Street. They're not at the tip of Manhattan, and certainly not at the edge of the United States. We celebrate our place in the nation and in the world, and we celebrate the world's place on our campus, where we have students and faculty coming from 48 states, close to 80 nations, and speaking at least 30 languages. That's a good thing. And we are proud of what happens when different cultures come together and learn from one another. So graduates, I'm optimistic because by being in this world as TC students, you have already been making a difference through challenging times, through disagreement, discomfort, and even discord. Part of your education has been to live in that discord, and it has prepared you for what is still to come. For some of you, things that you've studied, things you believe in, and which I believe in, are being challenged. Things like the value of diversity, of recognizing the strength of having those different backgrounds, different ideas, and different cultures at the same table. We know it makes us better. The value of equity has been challenged, but we believe in doing everything we can to ensure everyone has access to opportunity. Why? It makes us better. Even the value of inclusion has been challenged, implying that it is wrong to make people feel like they belong, that they are welcome. We want all of our students, our graduates, and our community members to feel comfortable contributing according to their own values and beliefs. Why? It makes us better. Higher education has come under attack. Research has come under attack. Teaching history has come under attack. These are the fundamentals of Teachers College, and they're infused in your education. Our graduates believe in history and learning from history. They believe in science and that facts are proven through research in labs and through data that has been collected and studied over many years. They believe that eliminating funding or challenging an area of study does not take away its value or our commitment to its pursuit. Our graduates here today have demonstrated that they care about making the world better, about growing, about questioning. They recognize that even with the benefits of artificial intelligence, there remains a need for us to talk to each other, to be together, to engage at a deep level. Our graduates know that we gain from the friction of disagreement, and ideally, we find common ground. Now, I say ideally because finding common ground seems so difficult these days, even to me, and building consensus is a core part of who I am. In fact, I will confess that these are challenging times for me personally. My academic career started with research on immigrant communities, their employment pathways, and their important contributions to our economy and society. I was raised in a Quaker family, a religion that emphasizes consensus and cooperation. My father spent his career working for UNICEF, dedicated to bringing health and well-being to children throughout the world. I believe in community and integrity. I believe in listening. I believe that we come to the right answers by working together. And the TC community has been my home for 35 years because it's a place that not only values those principles, but encourages them in all of our students. The fact is, I believe we can come together, and I know these graduates will lead the way. We have a common focus on the public good. So I'm heartened by our 2,200 graduates who will carry their visions forward with a focus on positive impacts in the fields of health, psychology, and education, all of which are about the public good. Graduates, today you join some 90,000 TC alumni who took what they've learned at TC and used it to make the world better. That includes those who came to this country just to study at TC. They came to build a better world in their home countries, like Satoshi Watanabe, one of my former students, now a policy advisor to the Prime Minister of Japan, addressing the country's income inequality and stagnant wages. And Nyupa Udom-Sakti, who became Thailand's first woman Minister of Education and a leading public health advocate. Our alumni also include those who are making their mark here in the US. That includes Alison Desir, who channeled her passion for movement, mental health, and racial equity into founding Harlem Run and co-founding the Running Industry Diversity Coalition. And John King Jr., who is now Chancellor of the State University of New York. And he's also the former US Secretary of Education. Graduates, I know you will continue in the spirit of those who have come before you, extending your impact, building on the legacy of our founders and leaders, from Grace Dodge to John Dewey, to Shirley Chisholm, to Maxine Green, to the esteemed Ed Gordon, who is still leading the way at the age of 104. So I end where I started, with optimism, because of you. In a world where decisions are being made like deals, in which winners have the cards and therefore the power, let me remind all of you that you have values, you have the knowledge, you have the experience, you have the strength. Those are all the cards that you need. And I know that you make us better. Thank you. All right, we've now reached the moment in this ceremony when we honor extraordinary individuals whose life's work has significantly advanced the cause of human flourishing, while upholding TC's core mission to foster excellence and equity in fields we serve. Today, we honor two preeminent leaders of a beloved New York institution, the Apollo Theater, Michelle E. Banks and Camilla Forbes. I now welcome Assistant Professor Davinia Gregory Kamika to the stage to introduce them. Thank you.
Good evening, and congratulations to our graduates. It's my pleasure to invite our medalists, Michelle E. Banks and Camilla Forbes, to join me at the podium. Okay, let's go with the other side. Let's do this. Yeah, great. Let's do this. Okay. Ms. E. Banks and Ms. Forbes, we're honored to recognize you for your meaningful and dynamic roles in the world of arts and culture. Just minutes northeast of Teachers College on 125th Street in Harlem is the Apollo Theater, where, as the saying goes, stars are born and legends are made. The likes of B.B. King and Sarah Vaughan, Michael Jackson and Ella Fitzgerald, Luther Vandross and Lauryn Hill. We pay tribute. We pay tribute to you as leaders of this treasure, which stands at the crossroads of creativity and community. Michelle E. Banks is a long way from Dayton, Ohio, to where you are today, President and CEO of the nation's foremost performing arts center, dedicated to amplifying Black artistic excellence. Your father was a US Army veteran, civil rights champion and entrepreneur, and your mother worked for the Department of Housing and Urban Development, so you were raised in an environment steeped in the values of public service and activism. As a teenager, you and your brothers were the first Black students at Gulliver Academy, where you excelled as a leader and a stellar athlete. With a business degree from the University of Florida, you proceeded to shine in the media and entertainment industries. As CEO of Essence Communications, you were a force on behalf of African American women and Black women across the wider diaspora in steering Essence Magazine, Essence.com, and the Essence Festival of Culture. And then the Apollo, where you took the helm as president and CEO in July of 2023 at a pivotal moment for the institution. Just steps away from the original, the Apollo stages at the Victoria opened in 2024 under your leadership. And soon, the landmarked historical theatre will begin a full-scale renovation from lobby to balcony. No wonder you've been named one of the most powerful women in the media by Billboard magazine and Variety magazine. Clearly, you're leading our Apollo to new heights. Thank you. And now, Camila Forbes, born in Chicago with roots in Jamaica, land we love, you brought your brilliance in directing and producing the Apollo in 2016. As a kid, you were immersed in arts and culture, from piano lessons to museum visits. You took that passion to Howard University, where you collaborated on a play with Chadwick Boseman and earned your degree in theatre. In the years since, you've become known for your commitment to the hip-hop movement and an entire generation. Under your leadership, the Hip Hop Theatre Festival, now High Arts, has become a vital force for emerging artists of color. From coast to coast and globally, you've nurtured creative voices and brought important works to the television and the stage. The poetry of Sonia Sanchez, the power of Marvin Gaye's What's Going On, the Emmy-winning Deaf Poetry, the PBS special Women's List, The Wiz Live, the revival of Lorraine Hansberry's A Raisin in the Sun. As executive producer of the Apollo, you build on a rich legacy while never shying away from innovation and bold expression. This place is wondrous, you say. There is joy. There are opportunities to be bewildered and surprised. I think we all fully agree that, and thank you deeply for your contribution to making it so. Now, please welcome Kerry-Ann O'Meara, Vice President for Academic Affairs, Provost and Dean of the College, to help me present the awards.
All right. Good job. For more than 90 years, the Apollo has been anchored in the Harlem community and dedicated to amplifying Black artistic excellence. How lucky they are to have your leadership and vision on the road ahead. With gratitude for your commitment to soaring achievement, creativity, and advocacy, I am pleased to present the 2025 Medal for Distinguished Service.
That was pretty awesome. Well, good afternoon, everyone. It is a genuine pleasure to be here. Thank you, Dr. Gregory Kamika. Can we give her one more round of applause as we walk down the aisle? You all celebrated Dr. Gregory Kamika, and we feel your passion for your teachers. Thank you for that kind introduction, and many thanks to the entire Teacher College community, President Bailey, Provost O'Meara, esteemed faculty, staff, trustees, and of course, to you all, the graduating class of 2025. It is a true pleasure to share today's honor with Camila Forbes. Camila, you are the artistic soul and visionary heart of the Apollo Theater, building on its profound legacy while innovating for the future. I am grateful to serve with you on this exceptional endeavor. And as we celebrate this incredible milestone for you all and look ahead, I also encourage you to remember something else that's very important. You are part of something larger than yourself. For me, feeling this connection has brought a profound sense of belonging and purpose and a deeper connection to the community. I am here to congratulate you on all you have achieved, and I am also here to encourage you to consider how you have gotten to this day, and who has helped you along the way. I know a little bit about that kind of journey. After all, the Apollo, which I am so honored to serve, is rooted in this deep history of Harlem and the story of Black Americans and the evolution of culture and the arts throughout the pivotal moments of the last 91 years. Now, I wasn't around for all of that, but my dad, Thomas Washington, was present for some of it. And in the early 60s, during his annual leave from the Army, he would immerse himself in the energy of New York City, and especially in Harlem. With its vibrant culture, it offered a stark contrast to military life. I think there's a sense that he was seeking his own personal renaissance, much like the artists and thinkers of the Harlem Renaissance in the 20s and 30s, who were experiencing themselves a cultural awakening, where a new sense of identity and possibility was being forged. In fact, some of the great contributors to the Harlem Renaissance attended Teachers College, including artists Charles Austin in 31 and Aaron Douglas in 44, both of whom dedicated themselves to educating future artists. Perhaps that search for purpose and belonging is what draws so many to Harlem still today. That powerful lure of a place that has historically served as a mecca for so many. And to help my dad along, he sought the mentorship of community leaders. He was fortunate to form a deep friendship with Adam Clayton Powell, Jr., a Baptist pastor and politician who represented Harlem in the U.S. House of Representatives from 1945 to 1971. They would have long discussions about the importance of economic empowerment, emphasizing the need to create wealth, secure education, and achieve true independence. My father became a dedicated student of Powell's teachings, absorbing the idea that Harlem was a place where you could not only dream, but you could acquire the tools to make those dreams a reality. And my dad was drawn to the Harlem Theater. He saw it as a cornerstone of culture. He loved music, and I could imagine him enjoying the performances in the wonderful atmosphere of Harlem's nightlife. And when he was stationed in Miami, at last, inspired by the Apollo, he revived the historic Carver Theater. He wanted to bring artists he loved to that community to recreate a bit of that Harlem energy. And when I was young, my job was the concession stand. I could still smell that popcorn. I could still remember making the hot dogs and feeling a part of something larger than myself. It was all fertile ground, but to actually arrive at this present moment, Camila and I needed our own version of Adam Clayton Powell. Richard Parsons, the corporate titan known for fixing anything that needed fixing, was that person for both of us. He supported Camila coming to the Apollo in 2016 to continue the legacy of artistry and innovative performance. And he guided me from Time Inc. to Essence to my role today at the Apollo. Dick's mentorship was a vital part of both of our journeys because no one gets there alone. So I hope you all will pause for a moment, think about your mentors, the seeds your families have sown, the knowledge you've gotten from your teachers, college professors, advisors, and the inspiration you have found in your colleagues and friends. And when you have a chance, let them know how much they have meant to you. I am happy to say that the Apollo is as vibrant and vital as ever. As Camila, the artistic heart and soul and visionary creative, She looks forward to the next 91 years, how the Apollo moves culture forward in what she calls the canon of tomorrow, and how best to build relationships with artists and audiences for generations to come. After all, the Apollo has been a cultural icon, but even if you performed there and bombed, it was still your family. Ralph Cooper, the originator and MC of the famed Amateur Night, said words worth remembering. He gave thousands of young people the opportunity to learn something profound about themselves and some lessons about life itself. As some discovered, they would never solo on Broadway. Fame and fortune does not await everyone who walked on that stage, but on Wednesday night, wisdom might. So rest assured, TC has given you the wisdom, and I firmly believe that you have what it takes to craft that wisdom into real life success. I believe you will forge ahead with a sense of wonder and purpose and hope. And I imagine that the many paths you will take will have some connection to where you have been, to where you have come from. Now, we have a fun tradition at the Apollo, and I've heard that Teachers College has a counterpart. Ours is called the Tree of Hope. It's actually a piece of a tree that was originally on Adam Clayton Powell Boulevard between 131st Street and 132nd Streets, known as the Boulevard of Dreams. It was a symbol for aspiring African-American entertainers who would gather near it hoping for opportunities. When the tree was cut down in 1934, the aforementioned Ralph Cooper brought a piece of it to the Apollo Theater. And just like you have patted the head of John Dewey when you needed some extra luck, our performers touch the Tree of Hope before going on stage. So Camila and I brought the tree here for you today. If you are so inclined, you can rub it yourselves after you shake President Bailey's hand. I mean, you never know, right? We wish you well in every endeavor to come, and congratulations to the graduates of 2025.
Please welcome student speaker Vikramaditya Joshi from the Department of Arts and Humanities.
President Bailey, Provost O'Meara, trustees, faculty, staff, and my fellow graduates, the outstanding, resilient, and trailblazing Teachers College class of 2025, this is our moment. As we collectively walk into the world as TC graduates, we will have the power not only to share our remarkable stories, but also to create educational environments for all learners to share their stories. Today, I offer you a glimpse into my story. My father, Harshad, who is here today, dreamed of studying in the United States of America. In fact, he had been admitted to a graduate program, but my grandparents could not afford it. He still worked tirelessly to enable his sons to fulfill their dreams. My mother, Nita, who began her career as a high school teacher, always recalled the transformative experience of being with her students. She was fiercely proud of being an educator. I lost her to cancer during my time at Teachers College, but I carry forward the only promise she asked that I sustain. Wherever you are in the world, always be good. I share these lessons from my parents, who are my first teachers, to highlight to the families and friends in the room, you did this. This is our achievement. I am deeply proud to declare that after all the years of my father's dream deferred, I will be the first doctor in my family. Today is a day to celebrate not the dreams deferred or delayed, but the dreams defined, the dreams realized, and the dreams achieved. My first teaching experience was when I was in the 7th grade in an abandoned garage in Mumbai, India. During the week, I attended classes, and over weekends for the next 3 years, I taught 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders how to read, how to calculate, how to write. My first teaching experience in the United States was in a maximum security prison as part of a college and prison program where I taught philosophy, ethics, and education. One of the first texts that I used was John Dewey's Democracy and Education. As my students and I closely studied this foundational text of democracy in America, I discovered that Dr. Dewey taught in the very halls that we walk through at Teachers College. This is where I needed to be. Under the tutelage of my kind and caring advisors, Dr. David Hansen and Dr. Megan Laverty, I reveled in every moment of reading, dialogue, and teaching at TC, but I did not forget my students. Waking up at 4 a.m. every Friday to catch the first bus out of the Port Authority terminal to be there for my students in prison, I recognized that being a custodian of the mission of empowerment, which is how TC's mission statement begins, to empower, requires a steadfast commitment to the education of all people. Education is a human right. As Teachers College graduates, we have the power and shared responsibility to preserve, protect, and defend this right. One of the hallmarks of my Teachers College journey was conducting federally funded research on resilience to fortify democracy in the United States. Alongside Dr. Amra Shabich El Reyes, whose inspirational leadership and thoughtful mentorship propelled my growth as a scholar, I worked with thousands of educators and students across 47 US states to develop nurturing educational environments that are free from hate. Over time, I've come to realize that the power of our voices expand beyond educational spaces. At the beginning of my journey at TC, I could not have imagined addressing cadets at the United States Military Academy at West Point, or working with CBS on a news story covering an event I organized in our very own Milbank Chapel, or seeing my research presented at the United Nations. And yet, this is my story. And as I look out at my fellow graduates today, I know that each one of you has your own extraordinary story. We are all storytellers, and today marks a day where we celebrate the indelible role that Teachers College has played in our story. From its founding as the Kitchen School by Grace Dodge, to becoming the largest graduate school of education in these United States of America, each one of us is now woven into TC's story. May we never forget the dreams of the children of today, for as Teachers College graduates, their right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness rests in our defense of democracy, education, and the inviolable recognition of our shared humanity. Thank you very much. Congratulations, everybody.
Please welcome Voci Vibranti, the TC Chamber Singers from the Music and Music Education Program, Department of Arts and Humanities.
One, two. his words killing me softly, with his song.
He had a good song. I heard he had a style. So I came to see him and listen for a while.
And there he was, this young boy, a stranger to my eyes,
Strumming my pain with his fingers,
strumming my pain,
singing my life with his words, killing me softly with his song, killing me softly with his song, telling my whole life with his words, killing me softly with his song. Each one I love.
I prayed that he would finish, but he just kept right on,
Strumming my pain with his fingers,
strumming my pain,
singing my life with his words, killing me softly with his song, killing me softly with his song, telling my whole life with his words, killing me softly with his song.
One, two, everybody go!
Strumming my pain, his fingers, strumming my pain, singing my life with his words, killing me softly with his song, killing me softly with his song, telling my whole life with his words, killing me softly with his
And now, to recognize each of the master's degree candidates is Denise Bonetta, Senior Executive Director, Student Affairs.
Thank you very much and good evening. Congratulations, graduates and families. We will now read the names of the graduates with the Master of Arts, Master of Education, Master of Philosophy, and Master of Science degrees by academic department. We now welcome the master's degree graduates from the Department of Arts and Humanities.
Toby Clark. Anna Sheep. Caitlin DePriest. Chen Wang.
Jin Zhang.
Lavender Ziying Gai. Yishu Guo. Yanning Han. Man Wang. Tinley Angel Shen. Haewon Han. Giselle Ruiz. Megan Erickson.
Chloe Fender. Mitty Cohen.
Caitlin Walsh. Lisa Lockhart McCoy. Ronald Ditchek. Yue Duan. Kaiyun Xiao. Wanchul Do. James Conroy. Hanji Zhang.
Xiaxi Fei.
Xuan Cheng. Wenzi Zheng.
Le Yi Shang.
Kayla Nappy. Isabella Epstein.
Fan Ge.
David C.
Talia Xian.
Rafael Morceleto. Sarah S. Kim. Ginny Kang. Anita Huang. Ting Weilin. Yifan Tong. Xinyao Shu. Dongjun Wang. Shueyang Kui. Manqing Bian.
Patricia Tracy.
David Alexander Eifel. Sarah Bahal. Sky Wright. Elizabeth Betts. Lily Marie Josephine Agnew. Xueyuan Xiong. Lori Chen. Tianla. Qingshao. Paige Walton. Benny Siam. Heather Corbett. Colin Harvey. Lauren Rose Marie Hyacinth Lice. Natalie Bauer. Genevieve Frank. Alif Rosida. Kendall O'Leary. Meili Uyahara. Sophia Zhang. Gabrielle Cohen. Yuqing Wang. Liushan Peng. Zuqian Chen. Javed Wang. Marty Scott.
Melody Jo Schaefer.
Yurong Bao.
Yuhan Wei.
Zhuolei Li. Yini Jin. Jason Jiang.
Zixin Chen.
Colin Lagios. Angelique D'Alessandro. Jessica Cohen. Bernice Ho. Jonathan Batista. Madeline Cockrell. Grace Kim. Cassidy Grablauskas. Kaylee Maines. Dylan Murphy. Natalia Lucia Butrago. Rithika Ashok. Kira Rai Daniel. Marcesia Cardwell. Austin Miners. Gary Rodriguez. Rebecca Beidel. John Thomas Johnson. Yuchen Fan. Sophia Solari. Amna Siddiqui. Karina Layfield. Grace Kent. Nishat Akhtar. Maylene Jiang. Jianga Fan. Meizu Liu. Anthony Guzman. Sharon Chan. Pin Han Chen. DeAndre Desir. Jirui Lee. Agnes Wang. Xiao Yan Zhang. Yilin Xu. Kayla Elizabeth Weingarten. Courtney Hart Glick Stewart. Ignacio Lueda. Rosalie Howell. Christina Rodriguez. Jacqueline Newsom. Amanda Moisoff. Joanna C. H. Kong. Xiaojing Zhu. Carolina Edman. Alexandra Siranova. Nicole Rodriguez.
Ko Wen Choi.
Tasneem Osman. Kaylin Bond. Lily Ma. Alexander Hu. Matthew Gruninger. Luke Linden. Hannah Tsao. Dustin Holmes. Ayana Yanai. Zhao Yi Sun. Yuhan Wang. Yilin Yang. Isora Zhen. Yexuan Zheng. Fan Zhang. Yushe Wang. Xiaoki Iris Kong. Xinyu Qiao. Inwan Stella O. Qinyan Zhao. Yutong Chloe Wu. Yao Yu. Ted Gender Greenhill. Nancy Ball. Eileen Bream. Eli. Ziwen Sun. Luoja Hu. Ingrid Engelhart. Emily Riedel. Leo Zhang. Anna Z. Suha Cho. Sophie Colinet. Chelsea Guo. Boyao Chen. Zieng Guo. Deepa Paulus. Jeffrey Matadial. Jiru Liu. Lei Chen. Yalin Zhuang. Yasong Lun. Yujua Yang.
Yu Jung Hong.
Yuzhong Huang. Nakyung Han. Jiwan Li.
Sa Zhang Zhang. Xin Yu Wang.
Siki Liu. Chutong Ye. Jiali Han. Weiting Yuan. Chen Guo. Muhang Ma. Genshin Ran. Joseph Hagen. Sophia Helmley. Sebastian del Principe. Cam Roberts. Jia Yun Shi. Lucas Kilrain Coleman. Stephanie Araujo. Elodie Harrison. By Qiang Zheng. Yan Wang. Hong Xuan Bao. Yitan Shu. Churu Feng. Caitlin Henneberry. Sophie Imamura. Meredith Sandifer. Whitney Conrad Lasker. Yuanheng Huang. Danielle Lang. Yuchen Tian. Tingshen Wu. Shuaisen. Megan Knowles. Ryan Parks. Eleni Moniodi.
Viviana Garcia.
Regina Lisitra. Anna Young. Amandalis Baroud. Amber Gilani. Turia Akio Benhamo. Mackenzie Miller. Celeste Hope Landy. Anshin. Yahan Jiang. Yifan Zhang. Anya Yanyan Yang. Jingwen Wang. Yuhan Deng. Megan Donovan. Lucy Ross. Aaron Zubarik.
Chelsea Diapa. Catherine Bean.
Alexandra Charney. Matthew Bills. Alice Shu. Yuga Nicole Yang. Xinying Wang. Ruoyu Gong. Binyao Hu. Zichen Yu. Jennifer Araneo. August Sherman. Abigail Blaine. Maxwell Sabella. Demi Zhao. Wan Sin Cheng. Jeremiah Plaskett Duffy. Henry Lynn, Shannon Thurl, Jill Roberts, Arden Trinity DeCanio, Samuel Polos, Nancy Tompkins, Audrey Ling Yek Pun, Ruodong Li, Yifei Huang, Yejin Yang, Zhang Daiwei Xu, Qihan Hua, Xiao Yue Liu, Lan Jixin Zhang, Yilin Zhang, Barrett Lowe, Daniel Zhu, James Allendorf, Stacy Kim, Chen Li, Lucy Fitzpatrick,
Pauline Kwan. Jai Li. Zemin Tan. That concludes the graduates from the Department of Arts and Humanities. I now ask the department faculty to rise if they are able to be recognized by the master's graduates. We now welcome the master's degree graduates from the Department of Curriculum and Teaching.
Weiyu Kwan, Farah Amanda Bobbitt, Maggie DePauli,
Massa Shabani,
Daniel Villu,
Patrick Cho,
Lauren Gould, Ariana Hockeyman, Naomi Mestman, Marley Harris, Jamie Chernett, Olivia Fanelli, Rita Toka, Neil Thane Bolton, Chenchen Wu, Jessica Chowdhury, Grace Catherine Cutler Wagshall, Dorothy Walker, Pragati Kaushik, Suravi Bantawa, William Engel, Allison D. Mayo, Emily Huang,
Lauren Key,
Kimberly Vega, Zhejie Zhang,
Chuk Lam Tai,
Selena Ruiz, Natasha Lisette Rivera, Carly Santani, Shanita Signibo, Chelsea Fajardo,
Liasha Burns,
Louise Rosler, Ashley Portoriel, Bielka Nunes, Lixin Du, Kelly Allen, Emily Ballou,
Claritza Emily Baquero Caban,
Marissa Clark, Tabassum Bouyan, Ariel Woolis Pink, Julia Alexis Spears, Ipai, Tongbao, Landy Zheng, Yixin Ding,
Haram Gi,
Yuan Gao, Mary Ann Donovan Bodnar, Dalaya Fayina Zulik, Abigail Sivak, Qing Li,
Beatrix Roberts,
Carly Haber,
Jae Hee Kwak,
Enrica Lim, Jenna Fass, Noah Katz, Sophia Barnello, Jane Yin, Abby Ibesu, Claire Sullivan, Julia Goldstein, Ariella Lerner, Sydney Naftalin,
Esther Katz,
Kali Liu, Lauren Mullender, Wenhao Lang Losky, Maxine Gray, June Rui Shu, Jenna Buchler, Megan Barna Wilmot, Kelsey Lopresto,
Cameron Donna Aker,
That concludes the graduates from the Department of Curriculum and Teaching. The department faculty are risen, so please recognize the master's graduates. We now welcome the master's degree graduates from the Department of Education, Policy, and Social Analysis.
Kiana Pete, Kiki McCants, Shakira Henry, Chenjing Song, Chongzhao, Caleb Hausman, Simran Singh, Dharma Wong, Alex John Dvoretsky, Malik Alonzo Henry, Nia Pierce, Renata Yeager, Lara Wuchik, Isabella Wu, Nicole Mora, Tess Aronson, Simona Chahira, McLean Miller, Zakira Rahman, Madeline Khoury,
Lydia Camp, Rin Fry,
Haley McCormick, Christian French, Sean Saunders, Rohan Sun, Zilu Gong, Jiayan Liang,
Charissa Ratliff Diodario,
Kiki Ramos, Caitlin Elizabeth Lipuma, Grace Bradley, Azalia Resendez, Tingting Liao, Yixuan Zhang, Guan Yi San, Zihao He, Allison Tierney, Isabel Simons, Yuchen Guo, Xiaoguo Liang, Ning Zhang, Mengxiu Li, Renyang Xu, Nai Xuan Zhao, Linking Song,
Gypsel Cibrian Lopez,
Julia Grace Marie Pohl,
Faris Hafiz Makarim,
Anthea Guthrie Honea, Ziming Liu,
Alejandra Francesca Giron Vives,
Grace Rennie,
Yu Jia Bai,
Rishika Jain, Ella Kolosek,
Paige Carmen Gaganiasta Cook,
Grace Katzmar, Maria Inez Fernandez, Pamela Estefany Ramos Pena Herrera, Yedhu Ding, Furong Li, Ellie Davidson, Daniela Dalsheim, Ronnie Lazama, Belinda Jewel Donahoe, Caroline Hickey, Shunyu Yang, Alexander Roman, Zatavia Hayes, Yalinel Beltre, Jabron Chambers,
Donna Mandler,
Yixin Zhang, Jiwei Wang, Zeking Ye,
Zi Cheng Ling,
Jakin Zhang,
Xiao Ke Wang,
Morgan Barney,
James Smythe. That concludes the graduates from the Department of Education, Policy, and Social Analysis. I now ask the department faculty to rise if they are able to be recognized by the master's graduates. That concludes the recognition of master's candidates. Thank you.
And now we will begin the hooding ceremony for TC's doctoral graduates. Each department will be presented by their chair, and each graduate will be hooded by a member of the faculty. Please welcome Patricia Martinez Alvarez, Associate Professor of Bilingual Bicultural Education, and Ruth Vins, the Enid and Lester Morse Professor in Teaching Education, Chair and Co-Chair of the Department of Arts and Humanities.
Buenas tardes. Como representante del Departamento de las Artes y las Humanidades, les invito to please join us in celebrating our graduating students from the Department of Arts and Humanities. Our department fosters an active community of faculty and student scholars who are invested in nurturing artistic, philosophical, and language literacies in schools, communities, and cultural institutions. El departamento es rico en conocimiento con sus 9 programas.
The 9 programs of Arts and Humanities collectively address human potential, creativity, wisdom, and purpose. Art, dance, music, language, literature, philosophy, and civic and cultural studies, the democratic impulses in each of these fields reminds us that living fully, feeling the vibrancy of being in the world, requires us to create spaces for dancing, making art and music, considering the central questions of being and engaging with and for others in the communities we inspire to create.
Encuentros éticos con y para otros. Intellectual richness and diversity demand that we hone our social imaginations toward a more just, equitable, and ethical world, for we are practicing agents for the art and the humanity of living. Congratulations, graduates. Felicitaciones a los, las, les graduados.
Graduates, your scholarship and your actions will ground, inspire, and invite all of us to think anew, to imagine more equitable ways of living, more resonant ways of experiencing, and more generative and just future worlds. Thank you for teaching us.
We now welcome the doctoral degree graduates from the Department of Arts and Humanities. Associate Professor Patricia Alvarez Martinez will hood our next graduates.
Farah Akbar. Sue Jean Joan.
Ruth Vins, the Enid and Lester Morse Professor in Teacher Education, will hood the following graduates.
Amanda Abbott.
Audra Robb. Chelsea Ann Barber. Kelsey Margaret Hammond. Jacqueline Stolzer. Mia Corvino.
Professor Randall Alsop will hood our next graduate.
Richard Fields.
Barbara Bashaw, the Arnold Professor of Practice in Dance Education, will hood our next graduate.
Rachel Schroeder Swenson.
Judith Burton, the Macy Professor of Education, will hood our next graduates.
Carmen Gomez. Charles Moore. Patricia Morshell. Stephanie Jen Boggs. Ivan Asin.
Professor Bob Fecho will hood our next graduate.
Christine Barrett. Claudia Chung.
Unbi Ellen Kim.
Senior lecturer Jeannie Goffey Finn will hood our next graduates.
John Schmerkel. Panayota Maria Papayanopoulos. Ruth Ann Aguirre.
Amanda Flynn.
David Hansen, the John L. and Sue Ann Weinberg Professor in Historical and Philosophical Foundations of Education, will hood our next graduate. Associate Professor Matt Henley will hood our next graduates.
Heather Doherty.
Patricia Agatha Karen Dye. Shola K. Roberts. Zakia Imani Atkinson.
Professor Megan Laverty will hood our next graduates.
Drew Chambers. Rory Verato. Vikramaditya Harshad Joshi.
Professor Beth Rubin will hood our next graduate.
Shenyu Lee.
Professor Patrick Schmidt will hood our next graduates.
Christopher Wasco. Adrian Omar Rodriguez.
Associate Professor Sandra Schmidt will hood our next graduates.
Joseph Donnelly. Eve Harold.
Professor Yolanda Seeley Ruiz and Assistant Professor Marcel Mentor will hood our next graduate.
Darius Phelps.
Professor Yolanda Steely Ruiz will hood our next graduates.
Diana Yang Liu. David Bozil. Honey Walrond.
Professor Lauren Vogelstein will hood our next graduate.
Allison E. Trotta.
Professor Hanson Waring will hood our next graduate.
Allie Hope King. Kelly Catherine France.
Kelly. That concludes the doctoral graduates from the Department of Arts and Humanities. I now ask the department faculty to rise if they are able to be recognized by our doctoral graduates.
Please welcome Thomas Hatch, Professor of Education, Associate Professor of Curriculum, Chair of the Department of Curriculum and Teaching.
Good afternoon. We are truly delighted to congratulate the graduates of the Department of Curriculum and Teaching here this afternoon. And in one of those firsts that was mentioned earlier, the Department of Curriculum and Teaching was established in 1938, and it was the first department in the United States that was dedicated to the scholarly study of curriculum and teaching of all ages and all subjects. Today, our students, faculty, and graduates are educators of all kinds, working with children and adults of all ages. We are teachers, teacher educators, coaches, curriculum developers, designers, writers, policymakers, scholars, advocates, and activists changing the world inside and outside the classroom. Thank you.
We now welcome the doctoral degree graduates from the Department of Curriculum and Teaching. Associate Professor Danny Friedrich will hood our next graduates.
Suzanne Pratt. Alyssa Getzel. Yulu Tian.
Professor Mariana Soto Manning will hood our next graduate.
Jacoby Bell. Karina Malik.
Professor Srikala Narayan will hood our next graduates.
Madeline Neufeld. Dana Marie Prem.
Professor Celia Euler will hood our next graduate.
Madeline Rose Dressner.
Professor Tran Templeton will hood our next graduate.
Tara Southwell Curtin.
Associate Professor Haney Yoon will hood our next graduate.
Catherine Yanan Chung Stahl.
That concludes the doctoral graduates from the Department of Curriculum and Teaching. I now ask the department faculty to rise if they are able to be recognized by the doctoral graduates.
Please welcome Luis Huerta, Associate Professor of Education and Public Policy and Chair of the Department of Education, Policy, and Social Analysis.
Good evening. I am delighted and honored to introduce you to graduates from the Department of Education, Policy, and Social Analysis. Our department embraces existing thought and develops new knowledge in the disciplines and domains of economics, political science, sociology, history, and applied policy analysis. Our graduates have studied the legal, bureaucratic, organizational, historical, political, economic, and social factors that affect both schools and the broader educational enterprise. Our graduates leave Teachers College prepared to be new thought leaders in K-12 schools, government agencies, national school reform organizations, nonprofit research and advocacy groups, private research institutions, and higher ed. I'm honored today to celebrate our graduates together with you. Congratulations, graduates.
We now welcome the doctoral degree graduates from the Department of Education, Policy, and Social Analysis. Professor Amy Stewart Wells will hood our next graduates.
Abby Keener. Jose Vilson.
Professor Judith Scott Clayton will hood our next graduates.
Nicholas Acevedo Rebolledo. Astrid Pineda.
And I'd like to welcome up Dr. Jacob Carr once again to get hooded by Dr. David Hansen.
Wow. That concludes the doctoral graduates from the Department of Education, Policy, and Social Analysis. I now ask the department faculty to rise if they are able to be recognized by the doctoral graduates. And that concludes the hooding of the doctoral graduates. Thank you.
And now, for the presentation of the graduates, please welcome Provost Carrie Ann O'Meara.
President Bailey, Chair Nelson, trustees, faculty, staff, and guests, it is my great pleasure as the Provost of the college to present to you the master's graduates from Teachers College. Graduates, when I say your degree, please stand if you're able. Please hold your applause until all the graduates have been recognized. Would Masters of Arts please stand to be recognized and remain standing? Would Masters of Science please stand to be recognized and remain standing? Would Masters of Education please stand to be recognized and remain standing? Would Masters of Philosophy please stand to be recognized and remain standing? Now it is my great pleasure to present to you the doctoral graduates from Teachers College. Would Doctor of Education please stand to be recognized and remain standing? And would Doctor of Philosophy please stand to be recognized and remain standing? President Bailey, I commend these graduates for their commitment to a wiser, healthier, more equitable, and more just world. I look forward to the positive change they will make as they take their place as leaders in our society. Please join me in recognizing and celebrating our graduates. Please be seated.
Please welcome President of the TC Alumni Council, Brian Kennerly.
Congratulations once again to the class of 2025. You are now all TC alumni. My name is Brian Kennerly, President of TC's Alumni Council, and I am honored to speak to you on this momentous day. I remember the immense feeling of accomplishment after I completed my master's degree in educational leadership at TC. I remember looking around during my own convocation at the classmates who became friends, the professors who shaped my academic journey, and all of the individuals who made my experience enriching and special. And although this may feel like the end of an era for you, this is just the beginning. You are now and forever will be a proud TC alum. More than 100,000 alumni live in all 50 states across the U.S. and are in 161 countries around the world. Wherever you go and whatever you do, you can connect with and learn from other distinguished TC alumni groups through regional groups, affinity groups, and through service. Our alumni body is made stronger by extraordinary people like you, making strides in the areas of education, health, and psychology all over the world. Let me reiterate, this is the beginning of a new experience with TC that will continue to build throughout your career. Engage with your fellow alumni, share ideas, and collaborate with one another. Stay in touch with us, letting us know about the important work that you are doing, and come and visit us on campus and around the globe. True change starts with TC, and I am here to remind you that true change starts with you. Graduates, please rise if you are able so we can all give you one more round of well-deserved applause. Congratulations to the class of 2025.